I have, but
Does the thought of college applications make you feel like you're gonna throw up? My name is Zara, and I'm here to help you through that process. Today, one of the first things that we're gonna talk about is letters of recommendation. There's a reason that letters of recommendation are the first thing that I typically address with my students. It's the thing your senior year that you have no control over when it comes to turnaround time. So I always suggest to students that ideally at the very end of your junior year or during the summer of your junior year, it's okay to reach out to your teachers and ask for letters. If not, then you definitely want to do it within the first 2 weeks of school starting. Now, I've said that you want to do it early on, but let's think about who it is that you want to ask to write those letters for you. This is something that you really need to think through carefully. Ideally, if you are able to get teachers who worked with you your 11th grade year, that is the best strategy because those are the people who know you most recently. If not junior year, then sophomore year. Most schools are going to require that you have at least 2 letters that are coming from teachers who are from your core classes. The third one is typically optional if there is a third one. However, some of the Ivy League schools do require that you have a counselor write a letter of recommendation. Now, let's talk about the teachers first. When it comes to approaching teachers for letters of recommendation, you want to be sure that these are people who are able to comment on what you are like as a student in a substantive way. What I mean by that is that you don't just want teachers to write that you were a student in your class who did well. You want teachers to write about personal, specific things that may have occurred during the time that you were in their class. And those things should speak to what kind of a learner you are, what kind of a contributor you are, and what kind of potential you have. So how do you achieve that with a teacher? There are teachers who are going to ask you to give them resumes to go along with the letter of recommendation. Not necessarily go along with it, but provide content for the letter of recommendation. I tell my students that while it's fine to provide a resume to your teacher, you definitely don't want to stop there or rely on your teacher to glue together different parts of your resume. What you want to do after you secure a yes is write a very compelling thank you email. This thank you email is your key. And what's going to go in that thank you? The first thing that's going to go in your thank you email is how you have grown as a person as a result of taking that teacher's class. The second thing that's going to go in that is what you've learned that stuck with you. So if there's one particular lesson, one particular project, one particular thing you did in that class that really resonated, that should go in the thank you. The third thing is a moment that you're most proud of, all right? When you include these 3 things in the thank you, you are giving your teacher content for the letter of recommendation. This makes what they do easier, much easier, because then they don't have to take the resume and glue together a bunch of things in pre-existing generic language. Always remember, you are not the only student that is approaching these teachers for a letter. There's probably a large number of students who are. So the easier you can make it for them while also retaining control over what they say content-wise, the better the situation is, and that is a true win-win. So I recommend you go early on, early in the academic senior year. Number 2, you ask them and give them a deadline that is in advance of your actual deadline. Give them a thank you that's substantive, that includes the type of specific content you want them to put in the letter, and put that in a thank you. Provide a resume if they ask for it. If they don't ask for the resume, you don't have to include it. Now this, very briefly, in a few minutes, is your ticket to getting good letters of recommendation. I hope you found this information to be useful. If you did, definitely click on the subscribe button and tune in because I've got lots of other goodies coming. Thanks a lot for your time today. Bye.